Hi everyone. So every year I grow my own flowers. I've been doing this for about 12 or 15 years. And the reason I started was I never really seemed to think that I had enough in the garden. I like the pop of color from flowers. And it seems that the more flowers you plant, obviously the more color you get, the more flowers you get. So what I started to do, instead of going to the home center or the garden center and buying flowers and spending a lot of money and feeling like I really didn't get a lot for my money, I started growing my own. And it's real easy to do. So I'm just going to do a quick video walkthrough. I'll show you how I do it. We're going into the third week of May, so these flowers have been growing from seeds since the middle of February. And today I'm just finishing up replanting some from the trays that I start my seeds in into individual cells. So let me show you this little pop-up greenhouse I use. It's real simple. There's nothing to it, and I end up with a lot of plants, a lot of flowers. I think this year I should have close to about 1,700 plants. That's a lot of plants. And if I were to go to the garden center and buy all these plants, you're probably looking at well over $1,000. I've spent $400 in seed over the years. I buy more and more as far as equipment goes. Not that it's heavy duty equipment. It's just maybe some trays to put the plastic cells in that the flowers grow in. And I bought some shelving units. I've bought some lighting. I've bought a pop-up greenhouse. I started out with a small pop-up greenhouse, went to a larger one. The more I started to grow, every year I would buy something to expand it, to get bigger into it. So let me take you out and I'll show you some of the flowers that I'm growing. So I start everything. These are shelving units. This is my dining room. I put them in front of this window and I put lights at each shelf. And I have 2 flats left to separate and put into individual cells. But I just take this flat, I fill it with dirt, I plant the seed, I keep it watered, and this is what happens. They grow, they germinate. These are vincas. These are a Mediterranean vinca. They're a trailing flower. I have a lot of hanging baskets, and I have some boxes that I have along a fence, and I plant them inside those boxes, and they cascade down, and it's just color along the fence. So these are just 2 left that I have to do with the vinca. And these here are coleus. They're really slow growing. I think this was a 50 pack of seed. I may only have about 20 that actually germinated. But if I were to go and buy these, probably spend $30 for just these plants that are in here. I purchased a seed pack for, I think, $6. So I put my greenhouse out on the deck. Those seeds are started usually the end of February, and then I start to transfer them from those flats like I just showed you, and I'll put each individual plant inside a cell. As the weather warms, usually around the end of April is when I'll put my greenhouse up. It's raining right now, so hopefully I'll get my camera wet. That's the greenhouse, and it does close. I keep it open this time of year, but when I first move them out here, I keep the greenhouse closed. It's nice and warm in here. There's probably a difference of temperature of about 20 degrees. So obviously at the end of April, temperatures some days are in the 70s, some days are down in the high 40s, mid 40s. So to protect them, I just keep the greenhouse closed. Now we're in the third week of May. The weather is better, temperatures are warmer. It gets so hot in here that the flowers, they start to wilt. So I leave it open, let the air come in, but they're still protected. They're somewhat protected from the direct sunlight. The direct sunlight will kill them, moving them from in the house, being under a light, and putting them outside. So I slowly acclimate them to the natural sunlight. But just here alone, there's about 1,500 plants. So these here are zinnias. These are zinnia precocia, and they'll grow to about 16 inches high, and they just have flowers, like incredible flowers on them. They're beautiful. I do plant tomatoes, and I usually only keep about 5 or 6 of the tomato plants. These are tomatoes here, but when you buy a seed pack, there's usually like 50 seeds in the pack. I'll grow them all. What I don't plant, I'll give away. What I can't give away, I put them in the compost bin. These are geraniums here. These are a red geranium. These are doing well. They're almost ready to start potting out, or put them out in the garden. I don't plant these in the garden. I put these in pots around the deck, around the front porch, around the front door. Down here I have petunias, and unfortunately my petunias died when I moved them out. This entire tray here is full of petunias. It looks like I only have 4 that didn't die, and that's all part of growing flowers. They don't all make it, unfortunately, but I tried. I usually do good with the petunias, but for some reason this year I really don't know what happened. I think I may have set them outside a little too early this year, but either way, is what it is. I'll try again next year. I have marigolds. These are marigolds here, and all these 6 trays here are marigolds. You can see they're doing really good. And these are all grown from seed in a flat. And they got to a certain point, and I was able to move them outside. I transplanted them into these individual cells, and these are all different colors. There are yellow, an orange, a gold, and if you've ever grown these, they're very, very easy to grow. Marigolds are probably one of the easiest annual flowers that you can grow from seed. Anybody could do it. The same thing with the zinnias. They're very, very easy to grow, and they get lots of flowers on them. They put lots of color out in the garden. And over here are the Mediterranean vinca, and I have quite a few of these, but I have a lot of flower boxes that I plant them in. Again, they're a trailing vinca, and this one's already starting to drop, but this will trail down and it'll be nothing but flowers. These are great for hanging baskets or any kind of window box. I have boxes that I have along my fence. I put them in there. So if you want a lot of flowers in your garden, the best way to do it without spending a fortune at the garden center is to grow them by yourself. And it doesn't take a lot of space. This will be down within another week or 2. The greenhouse will be down, the flowers will be planted out in the garden. We're going in, Memorial Day weekend is next weekend, so that's usually when I start planting all these out into the garden. So how I transplant them from the flat is I have my basket here, and these are all individual plant cells that I save from year to year. You can see these have been used. I just get myself some bags of potting soil, set up my little area here in the garage. It's out of the way. I do make a little bit of a mess, but it's easy to clean up once I'm all finished transplanting everything. Now I have a concrete mixing tub here, and I take the bag of potting soil and I put the bag of potting soil and dump it right into the concrete mixing container. And I just take the potting mix and start filling all these cells. This potting mix is somewhat wet. The bag it came in must have had a hole in it from sitting outside in the garden center. It got wet, but it's okay. This will still work. So after I put the potting mix in the cells, I like to push the potting mix down, kind of pack it in there a little bit. Okay, so here's our flat of Mediterranean vinca. And again, this flat was just filled with topsoil. The seeds were sprinkled in, I kept it watered, and then finally they start to germinate, and they're at the point now they need to be taken out of this and put into the individual cell. So to do that, I'll just take my hand and dig it in here. And we'll pull out a handful. And I just shake this potting soil off the plants. The plants will come apart from one another. And here is what they look like. They have a nice root on them. Pull them all apart. So we have a nice root ball on there. And I just take my finger, I poke a hole into the potting soil, push the root ball down in that hole, and then squeeze the potting soil around the plant, and that's planted. That's all there is to it. And I'll spend a few hours in here enjoying myself, because this is something that I really like to do. It's very relaxing and rewarding. And we'll fill all these cells up with these Mediterranean vincas. And in about 2 weeks, we'll plant them out into the garden. You just reach in, take a whole handful out. And then get the dirt off of the root ball. Once you do that, now the roots are all intertwined, but if you just give them a light tug, they come apart. The plant's not damaged in any way. Just a little slight tug and they come apart. There we go. It's just easy. Poke a hole down in the dirt, in our potting mix, push it around, and that one's planted. When I find something like this with a long root on it, it's okay to pinch that root. I do this because it saves space when you're growing them in the house. Obviously, most of us don't have a greenhouse. Okay, now that I have them all planted in the cells, we're going to water these in. And we're going to turn my battery operated sprayer on. Give each tray a good bit of water, or each cell, plant a good bit of water, and use the tape. Well, actually, it's on glue bound in here. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm going to take this, take it right out, and put it out in the greenhouse. All right. I hope you enjoyed my video on how I get my annual flowers and buy the seeds and grow them myself and get them ready to put out in the garden. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, because I'll be doing a video when I plant them out in the garden, and then I'll do a few videos during the summer to show you just what I mean with the spectacular color that you can get by just growing a handful of different variety flowers, marigolds, zinnias, some vinca, Mediterranean type vinca, geraniums, and my tomato plants. It's very easy to do. So if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button, that helps too. And I'll see you in the next one.